within the warp are the chaos gods. Nurgle, which is the god of... There is Khorne, which is the blood god.
You gotta stop. Nurgle and Khorne. Nurgle and Khorne.
So...
That's my band name.
Welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Nerd. In this episode, Josh is going to be taking a giant nerd dump about Warhammer 40K. So stick around because we're going to be learning all about the lore of this universe and maybe some other stuff as Josh walks us through his presentation. So I'm your host, Corey Winter, and joining me here we got Christian James on my right.
Lord dump.
He wasn't ready.
We got my wife, Cynthia Winter.
I'm sure you don't want to call it a lore dunk.
All right. Wife,
My child
Cynthia.
doesn't know the difference between dump and dunk, so that was an inside joke.
And we got our presenter.
There you go.
Josh Winter, my brother.
I prefer presentator.
Presentator.
The current potato. The presentator.
The presentator.
So what are we doing here?
So I was given the opportunity to have a captive audience that is forced to listen to me talk about Warhammer 40,000. So I'm gonna.
Okay.
Freaks me out that you said 40,000.
Yeah.
No, that
Isn't
sounds
that
good.
weird?
Yeah,
It
I've
sounds
never
weird.
heard that.
Never forget that's the real title of it. It's Warhammer
I
40,000.
disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've only ever called it 40K,
Yeah.
which it should be. It rolls off the tongue.
It does. It sounds good.
40,000.
It's the hard consonant, 40K.
Yeah.
Hits right.
Finality.
Yeah.
Say
So
it
now-
right.
So for Warhammer 40K, and we're going to start with the Imperium of Man.
Okay.
I figured it would be the best and the easiest because A, it's clearly the most relatable because we are people.
Man.
Speak
Yes.
for
We
yourself.
are man.
We are man.
And woman.
Also, it kind of covers the largest timeline as far as things that led us up to where we are now.
Mhm.
Now being the 41st millennium in 40K. Technically the 42nd. Things just keep going. So the most current events like Gilliman reawakening and the lion being rediscovered, which you guys have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not even a
this-
little.
Woo!
Is that a
Took
Dr.
place-
Seuss book?
Yeah, it took place in the 41,000s.
40 month.
The
41.
41.
Well, I was going to say 41st millennium, but that's not true because it would be the 42nd millennium if it's the 41,000s. But
Why
anyway,
did we do that? Never mind. It doesn't
What,
matter.
agree to this episode? I don't know.
No.
Corey's like, I need an episode idea, and I was like, oh boy, do I have one. This is what's currently speaking to my autism,
Mhm.
and so now you guys are going to suffer through it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Okay.
I
So-
will join you on this series sometime. Trust me.
I won't suffer in silence.
Before we dive in, make sure if you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd. Leave a like on this video, especially if you're a Warhammer fan. Let us know, all of you that are out there. Please leave some comments down below if Josh gets something wrong throughout this video.
And I probably will.
Oof.
No, so I was actually thinking about that on the way over here. So most of the lore comes from the Warhammer books.
Okay.
The collection's called the Black Library. And there's about 150 plus of them right now. And about 2/3 of them focus specifically on the humans. So I am glazing over 100 books worth of stuff.
Doesn't matter.
All right. So before anyone says, what about this? Or what about that? Or, well, technically, yeah, dude, I know.
Should we consider this like a 101
Yeah,
type
this
of
is
thing?
like a Warhammer 101.
Warhammer for dummies.
Kind of. And even then, we're only talking about one faction
Okay.
in this ongoing galactic battle for supremacy and survival.
This seems like one of those things where, like, I commend you for having something to present, because if you gave me something this large and this just of this scope and asked me to give a crash course on even one part of it, I'd be like, can't do it. Too much. Like, where do you even start?
But you could talk about snails for an hour, so.
In our first year of dating, I literally pretty much pinned him to the sofa and info dumped about snails for about 10 minutes. It was the first time I ever saw him truly annoyed. Lore drop. Lore drop. I'm surprised we made it through.
All right.
So
So
figured it could get no worse. So like if that's
Yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
You're
true.
good.
He learned a lot about snails.
All right. So, all that said.
Okay.
It-
So,
Dump on me.
all right. All right. So we're talking about the Imperium of Man, the massive galaxy-spanning human empire that's been fighting for survival for 10,000 years. It's ruled by the Emperor of Mankind, a near godlike figure who's been in a coma on life support throne, kept alive by sacrificing psychic humans daily. The enemies are alien monsters, which they call Xenos.
Xenos.
Mm-hmm.
Is it with an X?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
I feel like alien monsters.
They always start with an X.
Yep.
Well, no, I mean, like,
it's
saying
like
alien monsters.
Redundant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, no, because you could have aliens that aren't monsters.
But aren't they really monsters to us anyways?
Feels like semantics, but okay. Demonic horrors from another dimension. The warp.
No, can't say
Hold
that.
on. We both went there.
We
All right.
all just filtered ourselves. I can't wait to watch that back.
We got 2 sentences into this.
Okay, go. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Mutants and traitors. Those are all the bad guys.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Really? That's it in this entire universe? It's only 3 bad guys?
Well, but there are many variations upon those.
There's factions of
But
those bad guys.
those are the threats to the Imperium.
Okay.
The Xenos, the aliens, the demons that are coming out of the warp, and then heresy from within.
Okay.
Okay? So imagine if humanity ruled the stars, then lost everything. That's our story. By the end, you'll see why the Imperium fights on, no matter the cost, and more importantly, how they ended up where they are. So the Imperium in modern 40K, current present date, so think like Space Marine 2, the video game. It's huge, it's tremendous, it's galaxy spanning, and it is very much in a state of decay. Everything is falling apart. We are at best in a breakneck battle with all of our enemies. No one's winning, no one's losing. And everything is just old, tattered, static, and dying.
Everything sucks.
Everything sucks all the time for everyone.
Everything is awful.
Most of the books actually include the phrase at the beginning where it kind of sets up what the universe is like in case this happens to be the first 40K book you pick up. To live in this time is to live in the most brutal regime in human history. You are a cog in the machine. You are completely expendable. Life means nothing because there's trillions of us and billions are slaughtered every day.
Cool.
So
Sweet.
right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Grimdark. Yes, grimdark.
Grimdark.
Sounds like
bad.
everyday life.
Yeah.
Just a normal Tuesday.
So much of the Imperium's history in this universe is lost. And we will go back as far as we kind of know what happened, which puts us in what they call the Dark Age of Technology, or the Golden Age of Technology, depending on who you ask. So this takes place roughly in the 15th to the 25th millennium. And basically, it was like Star Trek times. Like, there were no wars, just progress. Humans on Earth, which they refer to as Terra, which is the Latin name for it, has invented amazing tech. And more importantly, in the 18th millennium, this is where all of it starts to go downhill. In the 18th millennium, they discover warp travel. So every sci-fi society has to have a way of going faster than light. And to the credits of the 40K writers, they didn't just say, no, it just works. They said, no, the way that our people get around the galaxy is they do interdimensional hopping.
Sick.
Which is cool. The ships really don't go that fast. But what they do is they tear a hole into the warp and then go through the warp and then pop out somewhere else. Here's the problem, though. The warp is basically hell.
Sweet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the dimension that we tore into is home of chaos, random demonic energy, and billions upon billions of monsters that want to possess you, take you over, and enter the materium.
Cool.
So the good news is, for the most part, demons from the warp cannot just come over. They have to have a vessel or a way of doing it. Which is why, for the most part, through most of human history, it hasn't been that big a deal. But now we're going into their space. But for thousands of years, for the most part, we have no real problems. Around the same time, we start seeing mutations develop in humankind. One of them, a brand of mutation, we called psychers. Psychers are basically, this goes back to Jason's argument of sci-fi versus science fantasy.
Mhm.
40K is dressed up like sci-fi, but it is
Yeah.
very much science fantasy.
Okay.
So instead of magic, we have psychic energy from the warp. So to get our wizard class and people who can use magic, that comes from the warp. So around the time we started traveling through the warp, we saw a huge increase in the number of people who can channel energy from the warp. That scares some people, that makes other people like, oh, that's cool. And so society's kind of torn on it, but the reason we allow it to continue is because one brand of the mutation gives us navigators. Navigators are literally born with a third eye
Hot.
that lets them see and navigate through the warp, which tremendously cuts down on travel time. So the warp is also known as the immaterium.
Mm-hmm.
Reality does not exist there, which means time does not exist there.
Okay.
Cool.
Without navigators, your ship could translate into the warp, and then when it translates back out, end up in the wrong spot or the wrong time or the wrong anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So having navigators was a huge deal, and it made everyone a lot more comfortable with the idea of having psychers among us.
Okay.
And again, we're enlightened. It's basically Star Trek.
Yeah.
Everything is great all the time. All right. It is a post-resource society. We can do whatever we want. We can build whatever we want. Everyone is great. They even start developing positive relationships and treaties with other aliens. Like, everything is great. Gene Roddenberry's dream is alive.
Everything is awesome.
Okay. Giant colony ships using STC, which are standard technology constructs. It's basically an ancient AI database for building pretty much anything. Think replicators.
Okay.
It's instructions on how to build anything ever for all time. Spread out onto barren planets and turn them into Earth-like homes, thus beginning humanity's spread amongst the stars. So now we're colonizing thousands of worlds. Humans also create super soldiers, enhanced gene-wise. And we build megacities known as hives.
Mm.
And this would continue for the rest of our existence. But the point is, we're growing, we're spreading, we're expanding, and everything is awesome.
Cool.
Yes. And then it didn't.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Cool.
So 3 things basically led to the end of the Dark Age or the Golden Age. At this point, they probably would have called it the Golden Age.
Okay.
But 3 things. So first off, while we're spreading out amongst the stars, we did what every human race does in every sci-fi piece ever. We need workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're too progressive to force people to work. So what do?
AI.
AI, which was already helping us design and build all these things, but now they're going to help us, like, work.
Wait, is that the real answer?
Yes.
That's depressing.
So robots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we build a robot workforce that's never gone wrong in the history of mankind.
Never.
Ever.
Mm-mm.
Nope. So a massive, numbering in the billions, workforce of robots. And they're all driven by artificial intelligence.
Love that.
And they all have what looks to be giant weapons.
I mean, just some of them. So we use them for not just work, but we use them for our military.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, what
So-
work involves a giant gun on your arm?
Yeah.
So we do have the genetically enhanced soldiers, but it gets to the point where it's just like, well, why use them if we don't have to? So we start equipping the robots to help us do all that stuff. And as one could imagine, at a certain point, the robots are like, well, hold on. This kind of feels like a raw deal.
Yep.
So there's that. At the same time, we started getting a massive increase in the number of psychers showing up. So it used to be one of those things where it's like, oh, that's Bob. That's the town psycher. He's a little weird, but he seems pretty chill. It's fine. And now it was showing up where, like, it was not uncommon for your family to have a psycher in it. So significantly more common, which again, in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's just that they could potentially be a gateway to hell.
Okay.
Not a bad thing, just
Yeah.
potentially, you know.
So this would this be determined by like family relations, or was that just going through the warp where they multiplied?
So the theory is that once we started traveling the warp, it increased our exposure to it. And so people and gene lines that were predisposed to it maybe kind of got that little kick it needs. But like a lot of things in ancient Warhammer history, it's purposely left vague. And that's good because that's good for storytelling. It can kind of be whatever you want it to be.
Right.
And so we get little snippets. There's, again, we're in like 15th to 25th-ish centuries. 99% of all Warhammer books go from the 30,000th year on. Everything before that is considered kind of lost knowledge. So we have vague ideas of what happened, but no one knows for certain.
Okay.
And it's a combination of, again, we're about to hit a cataclysmic event that wipes out most of our knowledge and technology, but also there's theories that either the emperor himself or the administratum that succeeded him purposely buried a lot of ancient history. And we'll get to that in a minute.
I just love the word administratum.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's excellent.
So this is a good time to talk about language in the 40K universe. So basically it's Latin by people who don't actually know Latin.
Love that.
It's like all the Harry Potter spells.
Yeah, and it's great. And it works because language naturally evolves over time. And so it's not unreasonable to think that 40,000 years into the future, they still have Latin-based languages. And it's just evolved over time to mean whatever they need it to mean.
Sweet.
So if it sounds vaguely Latin-y, it works. But, so the big three things that end the Dark Age of technology have far too much trust in the robots, which you can guess how that ends. The Psykers population is getting bigger and bigger and bigger relative to the general population. And the worst thing that happens is massive warp storms hit in the 25th millennium, blocking all travel on a galaxy-wide scale.
Well, that's not good.
So as
No.
the human race spanned out and started colonizing more and more planets, what they realized was not every planet is going to be good for everything. That just makes sense. So if you find a very mineral-rich planet, and we definitely want to mine the absolute snot out of it, we're going to do it. But maybe nothing grows there. Or maybe the atmosphere is ridiculously horrific. We have some terraforming ability, but we can only do so much, right? So most of the galaxy-wide colonization effort drastically and desperately depends on interplanetary trade. All right? Hey, you million people are going to mine this planet for every bit of adamantium you can. Yes, adamantium is in Warhammer 40K.
Of course.
Marvel basically lets it slide because they're 40K fans. Like that. Seriously, that's what it is. So we're going to make sure you have food. We're going to make sure you have water. We're going to make sure you have everything you need to have a sustainable, moderately pleasant life. But now the warp storms start. Travel becomes completely impossible, and every single planet is on its own.
That ain't good.
That's
It's super not good. So at this point, we go from being in the Dark Age of technology to what is known as the Age of Strife.
Strife?
I
Yes.
imagine that was just a
Struggle.
great time.
Yes. Also colloquially known as, sorry, I had to write it down, Old Night. So those are interchangeable terms.
The Age of Struggle.
The Age of Strife.
Strife.
So
That's a tongue.
the first thing that happens is the robots do have an uprising. And
Who would have thought?
Never saw that coming.
it lasts longer than you think. It roughly lasts 250 years.
That's it?
And it happened all at once on almost every planet.
Great.
Oh.
Wow.
So for 250 years, we're fighting Terminators. And not 40K Terminators, James Cameron Terminators. They're different things. And we do end up winning. But it makes everyone incredibly suspicious of technology.
I wonder why.
Never would have seen that coming.
That just doesn't make sense.
But here's the problem. So this is the part that never gets addressed in almost any other sci-fi ever, and that's one of the things I love about 40K. We've been completely reliant on artificial intelligence to make every decision, to design everything, to help us build everything, and now suddenly we trust none of it. So what happens? You basically go back to the Stone Age.
Mhm.
All right?
Kind of feels like that's the way
Yeah.
it's going right now.
Yeah.
As a teacher in public education, feels like that's where we're going.
Is this meant to be a social commentary?
No,
Have
but
you
a
not
lot of things
noticed
are.
the everything else he's said? Have you not anyway, I
So,
digress.
so for a couple hundred years following the uprising of the machines, we basically go back to being farmers. Like I'm talking like pre-industrial age.
Hunters and gatherers.
If you did not already have it, you weren't going to get it
Mhm.
because there's no one physically alive who understands how to build these things.
Mm-hmm.
So there is exactly one exception, and that's on our closest neighbor, Mars. Mars had spent thousands of years building and terraforming Mars. The vast majority of that effort went into a planet-wide shield system so that they could terraform it.
Cool.
The robot uprising happened, and they shut everything down, but they did not give into fear of technology, mostly because their entire survival depended on it.
Okay.
So they put effort into understanding technology, and that would carry on for the next 20,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so when everyone else began to fear it, Mars embraced it and instead attempted to understand how and why. That'll become important later.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, Terra's in deep So, Terra, being the oldest planet, is completely drained. Like, people live on it, but they rely almost entirely on imports. There is no food. Everything has become a barren wasteland. Nothing will grow on Earth anymore. All the oceans have been condensed down into one very large lake, which they call the Great Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the other 90% of the planet are basically a desert. There's a little bit of greenery up near like Iceland and down near the South Pole.
Okay.
Because that is now the only parts of the planet that are a good balance of still slightly wet and not heinously hot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they have no food. They barely have any water. They have trillions of people living on the planet. And now they are getting no more resources.
Awesome.
Things get real bad on Terra.
Yeah.
So,
Is that why that dude's head is exploding?
oh no, we're about to get to that.
Okay,
So,
cool.
the machine uprising happens, and everyone starts to become very fearful and paranoid,
Mhm.
kind of about everything,
Never
Wonder
would have
why.
seen that
Because-
coming.
Appropriately.
because their entire life revolved around technology, and technology betrayed them. So when you become paranoid, and the thing that you're paranoid about kind of resolves, a weird human tendency is that the paranoia doesn't go away.
Mhm.
It just finds a new target.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they might have focused their paranoia on? They can't focus it on the machines anymore. They shut all the machines down.
Each other.
Close.
Oh.
The Psychers.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So, and it tended to work out where the bigger, more metropolitan planets didn't do it so much, but all the little backwater planets that only had a couple million people on it, they're just like, no, that guy's shady, and I'm over it, and they just ganked him. Just all.
Backwater planets.
Yeah. So,
Gank.
next became huge, tremendous superstition and fear of Psychers. And they started just murdering the absolute snot out of them.
Just
And
murdering.
Wow.
Just murdering them.
just purging them.
I don't like you.
Yep. Except, hey, do you know the way to the Hive City? Yeah, back the way you came. And so the more rural planets completely wiped out most of their Psychers. The big metropolitan planets who are still hanging on to hope and thinking things might get better didn't really do that as much, but that'll come back to haunt them. So,
Okay.
Subtle foreshadowing.
yeah. So right around so is the picture. So, so right around the time we're getting over the robot uprising and trying to move on with our lives as best we can, that's when the warp storms start up.
Cool.
And
Is that what's in the background?
Yeah, that's what cuts off all communication and travel. But also, now that the warp is all extra spicy, the demons inside it are looking for any opportunity to kind of use that surge to escape into the real universe, the materium, and get souls, because them's likes the souls. And
T-shirt.
so
Tasty.
Them's likes the souls.
Yeah. And so the unfortunate thing about being a psyker and getting your psychic energy from the warp is that you're basically a beacon in the dark. And so you just got over having to dispatch all of your robot servants, and your farm is dying because the warp storms are cutting off all your support, and you're worried about everything. Also, Susan down the street just spit out a demon from hell. So things just keep getting worse. And
Yeah, sounds pretty bad.
yeah. And so massive demonic incursions. And that causes more people to gank all their psychers. And
Did you write these specific words down?
no,
Like gank and...
no.
All right, cool.
Oh, that's what makes it so good.
All right. So the warp storms have trapped colonies alone. There's no food shipments. Famines kill billions. Terra specifically is starving. Aliens like savage orcs.
Sick.
Yes.
Wow.
Take the opportunity to start picking off the isolated worlds. So again, if you're a farming planet, you really don't have much of a military, because why would you need one? And
Gotta defend this corn.
yeah, and now it's funny you say that. That's actually the number one product.
All right.
I know what I'm
And-
talking about.
And so yeah, so the orcs, who by the way are not really evil, they just like violence.
They're just big.
Yeah. No, really. Like
Wait.
that's it. They just like to fight.
Yeah.
Not evil,
They just like violence.
but they...
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
like
they're
our
also
cats.
they're also
Yeah.
funguses.
What?
What?
Yeah, that's for the orc episode. So we'll come back to that. But anyway,
tuned.
Tune in.
Yeah.
so the orcs are one of the biggest threats. There's another one called the Harud. They don't last as
How
long.
rude.
Yeah. Anyway, so they start
2 out of 10.
All right.
picking the more isolated planets off. That's a bad time for everybody. So at this point, we're roughly between the 25th and 29th millenniums. Tech is forgotten. It has now been long enough that literally no one remembers how anything works. We're back to the Stone Age, but it's an interesting version of the Stone Age where if you can find it lying around, it's not like it quit working.
Yeah.
You just don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But a gun is a gun, and if the gun has ammo, it'll shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So Stone Age plus advanced weaponry.
Good combo.
Cavemen with laser pointers.
Yes.
Laser blasters.
Laser blasters.
Terra is a radioactive hell of warring gangs. Think Mad Max, but with like las rifles.
I was actually thinking that
and stuff
looks
like
like
that.
Mad Max.
Yeah. And Mars has split into tech priest cults. So like I said, Mars didn't give up on technology. They embraced technology, but they have differing opinions on how technology should be used. So they're having their own little civil war on Mars. So this is pretty much the low water mark for humanity. And they really, really, really need someone to step up. So enter... Oh, sorry, that's the Hellscape, Mad Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Mad
more-
Max with laser rifles.
More
and-
death,
that-
more destruction.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they really need someone to step up. Enter the single most important being. Oh man, that's Mars. Sorry guys, forgot I had a Mars slide. That's what Mars looks like.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So-
Like you
Wait,
can-
why does Mars have a... Does Mars have a
Is that a
ring?
Death Star?
It's an artificial ring.
Mm.
So that is part of the shield system
Ah.
that would have protected Mars until the warp storms knocked it out, and they all had to go underground to survive.
Mm.
But you can even see one of the hive cities
Mm.
on Mars. Like it's completely visible from space.
Oh, okay.
Did you see me
That's
understanding
neat.
that Mars doesn't have rings naturally? Look at me knowing space.
You're so smart.
Yeah.
What do you know? What planet does have rings?
3 of them.
Yeah, there's actually a few.
A couple, that was tricky.
Tricky.
A regular Neil deGrasse Tyson of you.
I'm proud of you for knowing Mars doesn't naturally have rings. So smart.
Never even been there.
So this is where it starts getting good.
All right.
Is this the actual slide?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
This is an actual picture of Mars. No.
No, like the slide you were looking for.
No. So this is the slide I'm looking for. So basically, everything's as bad as it could possibly get. The once grand utopia has shattered. Everything's fallen apart. Everyone is warring amongst themselves. Terra is the worst of all. And they really, really, really need a unifying factor. Enter. Oh, wait.
Boobies.
Boobs.
That's Slanesh. Okay.
How many
That's-
slides did you
many
forget
slides?
about?
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
We need to stop.
Yeah.
We need to get off of the same wavelength.
It's the tequila. Okay. So let me explain why there's boobs on the picture. So
All right. Don't need to explain.
I'm more concerned with the eyes, even though the first thing I said was boobies. I'm more concerned with
It's like
the
a
eyes.
peacock.
So basically, what caused the warp storms were the Eldar, which are space elves.
Sweet.
That's all you need to know. So they're space elves.
Honestly,
Okay.
all I've ever wanted is space elves.
Yeah. So space elves, they basically start out on the other side of the galaxy relative to us. And within the warp are the chaos gods. And at the time, there were 3 of them. Nurgle, which is the god
Nurgle?
of which is the god of disease and decay.
Sounds like it.
There is Khorne, which is the blood god.
You gotta stop. Nurgle and corn.
Khorne.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway,
Nurgle and corn.
so
That's my band name. I'm sorry, continue.
it's okay. This is gonna happen. It's fine. I anticipated this. And then Zeech, which is the god of
What?
deception.
That was actually kind of cool.
Got a deception?
I'm sorry, can you spell Nurgle?
Nurgle.
I thought so.
He's also my
All right,
favorite chaos
We're
god.
good.
We could talk about Nurgle later.
Do you have a picture of Nurgle?
I don't have a picture of Nurgle.
Come on.
So
We're good.
there's a reason I specifically
Woo.
had this picture. So
Oops.
for a long time, no one understood what caused the warp storm all of a sudden. Well, basically, for 5,000 years, a faction, not all of them, a faction of the Eldari.
You should just think about Nurgle again.
You
We're
just
good.
need a minute to get over Nurgle.
Good. We're good. I just can't look at you.
Every time she looks at you, she thinks of Nurgle.
Stop.
I love Nurgle.
We're good. Oh,
His followers call him Papa Nurgle. It's not a joke.
I know I really can't tell if you're joking. Okay, I'm crying, but we're good.
So who's this?
Okay, so for 5,000 years, a faction of the Eldari who are obsessed with the warp basically have a 5,000 year long orgy.
Oh,
And
is that why there's boobs?
so they're having this massive orgy. They're constant feasts, lots of violence, lots of sex. And after 5,000 years of doing this, they culminate by mass suicide.
Oh, well.
So the whole point of this was their effort to create a chaos god of their own.
That's probably how you do it.
And so they created Slanesh,
Slanesh.
the chaos god of excess.
Much better name than Nurgle.
Mm.
So most of the time, depending on who's doing the writing, they get lazy and it's just a sex god.
Sure.
But technically, she's the chaos god of any kind of excess. So gluttony. all your carnal sins, right?
Yeah.
Basically
Seven
fall
deadly
back
sins.
on Slanesh.
Okay.
So that's what they were doing for 5,000 years, and it wreaked havoc in the warp and caused all that mess and all that nonsense. And when they finished it, Slanesh was born, and slowly the chaos storms faded. And it was fine, except there's a whole ass new chaos god. So, you give and you get.
Yep.
But, so that's Slanesh. Sorry, I forgot about that slide as well. But that's what caused the warp storms. Anyway, this is who we wanted.
Hey.
He do got
Who
some
is it?
claws.
Okay, so enter, for the first time in recorded history, the God Emperor of mankind.
Sweet.
Okay.
But it is important to note that at this time, he extremely vigorously insisted on only being known as the Emperor. That's all he wanted.
Oh.
The
Is
God
this-
Emperor of mankind is staunchly atheistic. So the Emperor, we do not know his name. It's not officially recorded in any way, shape, or form.
Is this where For the Emperor comes from?
Correct. This is said Emperor. So we're at roughly the year, the late 29th millennium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at this point, the Emperor has basically said he's had enough. Now, bear in mind, no one calls him the Emperor because he's just some dude.
He's just some guy.
But what's important is he is what's known as a perpetual. So a perpetual is, he's not the only one, but there's only a few that we know of. And he is undisputedly the most powerful of them. Basically, they believe themselves to be the next step of human evolution. So he is roughly 12 feet tall, incredibly smart, and effectively immortal. He is also the most powerful psyker who has ever lived.
Hmm.
And theoretically, he's been around since like 30,000 BC.
What?
So there's, and again, this is where it starts getting like hazy, because most things before the point that we're just now starting to talk about in 40K lore are either hinted at or alluded to. They're never expressly stated.
Okay.
And so this is all theory, but the generally accepted theory is the Emperor has been around since the dawn of mankind. He has been slowly trying to guide humanity towards unity and basically claiming the galaxy as their birthright. And so a lot of humanity's wars are theorized to have really been grudge matches between perpetuals. And they just have a very good ability to persuade people to join their causes and fight on their behalf. There's a rumor that one of the methods that he attempted to unite people was through religion, and that he was Jesus Christ. And after we tried to kill him for it, he then decided that atheism was probably the way to go. And people didn't respond well to the religion aspect at all. So anyway, that's a rumor. That's not official Warhammer 40K canon.
Okay.
But anyway, so it is around this point where the Emperor, who is regardless thousands upon thousands of years old at this point, says, you know what, enough's enough. And he starts his Unification War. And he starts by taking out every other techno-barbarian warlord on Terra.
I want that on my resume. Techno-barbarian warlord. Hell yeah. Top of the resume.
It's my name now.
Techno-barbarian
name.
warlord. You will address me as such.
Say the whole thing.
So at the time that his battle begins, there were more or less 8 techno-barbarian warlords that had basically carved up the planet. And of those, 3 bent the knee, and the other 5 were never heard from again.
Oh, cool.
And
Well,
so,
Wow.
Cool.
Wonder what happened to them.
yeah,
Who's to say?
well, the ThunderWarriors can say. So he knew he needed an army,
The ThunderWarriors?
and that they would need to be better than everyone else.
Mhm.
And so he began experimenting with genetics again
As one does.
and created essentially prototype Space Marines.
Mm.
So these guys were almost as tall as the Emperor and stood between 10 and 11 feet tall,
That's real tall.
wore prototype power armor, and were just nuts.
Sweet.
Every single one of them would be classified as like a berserker. So they're not very smart, but they're very strong, very powerful, very fast, and good at killing.
Brawn over brains.
Yes. And so that's what he used to conquer Terra.
Cool.
Took him a few years, but he got it done. And then he kills all of them.
Oh,
All right.
well.
All right.
His
Sure.
his logic being that they were very much designed to conquer Earth. They did their job, but he did not have faith in their ability to spread across the galaxy and work without his direct supervision.
Mm.
He considered them a flawed prototype and nowhere near the masterpiece that he had in mind. So as soon as they were done, he slaughtered them all.
All right.
Yes. So the Emperor, depending on who writes him, is either brilliant, powerful, cold and calculating, but with the best interest of humanity at heart, or he's a total moron.
All right.
Great.
That's what happens when you have 50 authors.
We love the
write same
dichotomy in a
characters.
character.
Yeah. So most of the time he's the former,
Uh-huh.
but every once in a while he does some boneheaded stuff. It's just like you're supposed to be like the smartest human being of all time.
Unless this guy writes you.
Yeah. So anyway, slaughters his ThunderWarriors. At this point, he goes off to finish conquering Luna and then gets in touch with Mars. Mars had tried to visit Earth, Terra, before he took over. They literally looked down, saw all that Mad Max stuff, and said, absolutely not. And they went back to Mars and hid underground again.
Nice.
So he signs a treaty with Mars. So by this point, it's been between 5,000 and 10,000 years since technology died off. Mars has literally been hiding under a rock. And in that time, technology has essentially become their religion.
Okay.
Again, this is important.
Because they're the only ones that didn't reject it completely.
Correct. And so they believe that technology is sacred and holy. And if they had to do coding on a computer or something like that, it's not coding, it's not inputting directives. They are saying prayers to the computer. And they believe in their holy entity, which is the Omnissiah, which is the computer god, right? Basically, the Emperor showed up and started talking to him, and they were just like, you know what? This dude might be the Omnissiah. And he was so desperate just to get Mars's help because he saw that they still had functioning tech. And he was just like, yeah, no, totally. Definitely.
Yeah, I am the god.
I am he.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. And they were just like, okay, cool. And so they signed the Treaty of Olympus for Mons Olympus on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the actual Imperium logo with the two-headed eagle comes from.
Mm-hmm.
One head represents Mars, the other head represents Earth. It's the unifying factor. And he declares the Imperium of mankind has begun. Because now he's got 2 planets.
Mm-hmm.
First he had no planets, then he had the 1 planet. Now he's got 2 planets.
Yeah.
And a moon.
Big step
Conquered
up.
Luna.
Whoa,
Okay.
big step up.
2 planets and a moon.
All right.
So,
What more could you want?
well,
3 minutes.
he wants it all.
Well, that's just
of
a little
course.
excessive.
Little
So he wants to
selfish.
completely reunite humanity because he knows that out there have to be surviving planets,
Mm-hmm.
but they're struggling and they need saving.
Do
and he's
they?
going to go get them.
Do they? Why
Yes.
doesn't he just keep his hands off?
No, it kind of sounds like they need saving.
So he liked what he did with the ThunderWarriors. They were
He-
effective, but they were not going to be good without supervision.
I really liked that. Killed him.
So
It's like the dinosaurs.
he teams up with another perpetual named Erda.
Better
Erda
than Nurgle.
is at least as old as him. Some rumors say that she's older than him,
Mm.
but she's also a brilliant geneticist. And they decide to take a little bit of each of their DNA and see how far they can push it.
They have a baby.
They have 20 babies.
That's a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
all
babies.
So they create
Ultra
the
baby.
Primarchs.
Sorry.
So the Primarchs are, again, tremendous. They're between like 11 and 15 feet tall, depending on which ones you're looking at specifically.
Mhm.
And he creates 20 of them, technically 21, because number 20 was actually twins.
Ah.
So they each had genetic augmentation, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
And that gave them a wide range of features, abilities, and so on and so forth. But his plan was 20 generals for 20 legions of super soldiers, each numbering 100,000.
All right.
That has to be enough to take back the galaxy.
One would think.
And so they begin. And they are growing these babies in accelerated vats. And the Emperor is telling Erda his plans. And Erda secretly begins to resent these ideas. Basically because despite being an intellectual, she has grown attached to what she considers to be her children.
No.
And does not like the idea of them literally having the sole purpose in life of conquering the galaxy.
Kill.
So she gets real upset, opens a portal into the warp.
As one does.
Demons come in and scatter the babies all across.
Ah, my
Sweet.
God.
Freaking demons.
Yeah.
So
Like if I had $1 for
Every time.
I'd have about $20.
every time these demons
So-
scattered my babies.
So the Emperor is peeved, and before he can really do anything, which he actually later says that he understood why she did it, even if he doesn't agree with her. So he does not issue orders to have her killed. But
Oh, sweet.
she runs away.
'Kay.
So in the meantime, he still has all the data left over from the process of creating the Primarchs.
Mhm.
So he's just like, well, I mean, I could still make the armies. So that's what he does. And as such, the Space Marines are born.
Yay.
Right.
So first generation of Space Marines, roughly the year 30,000. And
That's like 10,000 away from 40K.
yes, and they begin the process of dispersing throughout the galaxy and beginning the Emperor's conquest. To be clear, the Emperor is not a tyrant.
Okay.
He is trying to do what he genuinely believes is best for humanity. And he's not wrong, because again, as we discussed, all these planets, for the most part, cannot survive without the help of other planets.
Mm-hmm.
And so to him, he's just trying to force everyone to get along.
Mm-hmm.
And when he shows up and declares that the Emperor,
The Emperor.
I couldn't decide if I was going to say Emperor or Imperium.
Mm.
The Emperor shows up and says, hey, I'm here to help. All you got to do is bend the knee. If they bend the knee, all's good, man. And you're welcome back in, and he lets you keep running your planet, and everything's fine. But if you say no, he's going to make you bend the knee. And he sends in all the Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they do Space Marine stuff until you say yes.
This is just the Emperor taking all the planets and being like, now kiss.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kiss.
Pretty much. In the meantime, the expeditionary forces are also in charge of, looking for their Primarchs.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Them.
Those 20 babies.
They.
21 babies?
They are
21
eventually all found over the
Yay.
course of about 100 years.
Not long.
Well, that's fine because their gene seed is based on the Emperor, so they're effectively immortal unless they're killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been growing up just fine. There are tons of books that go over how each Primarch grew up, and it plays greatly into how they ended up as adults, as one would imagine.
Mhm.
But my favorite idea is thinking about like some little agriculture planet that's like starving, and this baby crash lands, kind of like in a Superman situation.
Mhm.
And the baby keeps growing, and now they're trying to feed a 12-foot tall,
Yeah.
800-pound man, and they have like no food. Anyway, so
That's a side story.
yeah, that's a completely different. Again, we are going so high level with all of this.
Yeah.
But they do rediscover all of the Primarchs, and each Primarch is assigned to the legion that was built off of their gene seed. So all these warriors literally think of their Primarch as their father, because that's where their genetic code comes from. Anyone can be a Space Marine if they go through the procedure to have it done.
Mm-hmm.
And that culminates with the implantation of the gene seed, which ends up being 2 organs. I think at the beginning it was only 1. But that's what finishes the process. So they are literally genetically bound to their Primarch, and they take that very, very, very seriously. They're also perfect soldiers, so they're honor bound, duty bound, and all that other fun stuff. But once all this happens, everything seems to be going pretty well. Terra is spreading influence. Planets are falling in line. The ones that say no
You never hear from them again.
end up falling in line. But at this
We don't know how.
this is also the point at which the Emperor decides, the aliens did us dirty. And so that's when the xenophobia begins. And so
With an X.
it becomes one of those things where, like, we don't care if you're nice. We're not taking that chance again. So again, it's very fear-based because they had bad experiences. And so pretty much if you're not human, you're just SOL.
Hmm.
At this point, they have entered a massive, like the biggest war in all of history,
Real big.
fight with the orcs. The orcs have become a massive problem. They thought they went away for a little while, And then they came back in bigger numbers and literally physically larger than they've ever been before. And it ended up culminating on a planet called Ulanor. And the Emperor's favorite son, his favorite Primarch named Horus.
Like the Egyptian god.
Yes. Named Horus, leads the final fight, crushes the orcs. And the Emperor comes over to him, shakes his hand, gives him a pat on the butt, all that stuff, and says, Horus, you've done a great job. I'm going to make you War Master.
Oh.
You are now in charge of every bit of humanity's military.
That's so
Sweet.
sweet. Yeah.
Which is something that the Emperor has personally overseen for the last 5,000 years.
It's a long time.
And then the Emperor says, so anyway, good luck. And he leaves. And it's fine. Everyone agrees that Horus is an incredible leader and he's equal parts ferocious and diplomatic. Because again, if you're willing to work with us, we're fine. Like it's good. We're here to help. It's just we don't, we're willing to force our help onto you if you don't want it. And so he's an impeccable leader, very well respected, not just by the foot soldiers, but even the other Primarchs agree that he's probably the best Primarch. And everyone is pretty happy with this news. But the Emperor has effed off to go back to Terra.
Okay.
Because he has a special project that he's working on. So, as we've established, all travel, all trade, all communication is done through the warp. As we've also established, the warp is not a great place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the Emperor has started a project called the Webway, which he believes will allow the creation of wormholes that don't go through the warp.
Okay.
And we can just purge all this demonic nonsense and be done with it forever. So it's very important to him, and he trusts Horus fully. And then some more bad stuff happens.
Yeah, I call it. Yeah.
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 I
So,
thought
a couple of things happen all at once. But, I think I have a picture of Horus.
Ooh, picture.
3 pictures of Horus. Spoiler alert. So,
He has not aged well.
yeah. So, he is in charge of the military. And as we've established, the Emperor has pushed a very atheistic agenda. There is no God. There's only humanity. Technology is not inherently evil. And it is a tool. And the only thing that you should be concerned with is the unification and proliferation of humanity. One of the things that happens is one of the Primarchs named Lorgar has started a small faction of people who literally worship the Emperor. And why wouldn't you? He literally has saved mankind.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's also
Stand-up guy.
He's also factually immortal and the most powerful magic user of all time. Like, why wouldn't you deify that person? And so he has started a small cult of people who worship the Emperor as a god. Some of the other Primarchs find out about this and they're just like, I don't know if that's a good idea, man. Like, Dad specifically said, and they refer to him as father. There's like, Dad specifically said, like, no, like, this is not what he wants. He wants respect. He does not want to be deified.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell him to cut that out. Bad Lorgar. And so that kind of hurts his feelings a little bit. At the same time, a couple of the other Primarchs, are a little jealous of Horus, but they'll never say it out loud. And so there's some resentment building there a little bit. But anyway, Emperor finds out that Lorgar is worshiping him as a god, stops what he's doing, drives all the way out to whatever planet he's on, gets out, hits him, says, don't do that. And he gets back in his ship and he goes back to what he was doing.
Wow.
And I said it as a joke, but that's literally what happened. Dude spent 6 months traveling through the warp to the other side of the galaxy to get out, yell at his son, immediately get back on the ship and leave.
Dad activities.
Yeah, dad energy is insane on that one. And so one of Lorgar's space marines, who's been kind of shifty, comes over and goes, there are actual gods we could worship if we wanted to. And Lorgar's like, tell me more. And he's like, yeah, there's 4 of them and they live in the warp and they're the chaos gods, but they seem pretty nice.
Yeah.
And so Lorgar's like, well, but at the same time, long story short, Horus gets stabbed by a chaos demon blade because they were fighting some demons.
Cool.
And becomes very, very ill.
As one does when stabbed with a demon blade.
Yeah.
And it's kind of left ambiguous over whether he actually communicated with chaos gods or whether he hallucinated it. But basically, they told him, your dad's not a good dude. He basically left all of this crap on your shoulders. You never asked for this. And on top of that, like, he's never even given you a hug, man.
Aww.
And so, again, glossing over a lot, Horus is eventually like, you know what? Yeah, dad sucks. And so he starts talking to some of the other Primarchs. Again, skipping over a lot. Come at me in the comments. But of the 18 Primarchs, he convinces 8 of them to go with him. Now, we went from 20 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what happened. We don't know.
Oh.
Cool.
So at some point, 2 of the Primarchs were scrubbed from history.
Oh.
We do not know what they did or why they earned the dishonor of being completely obliterated from every record of all time.
Sweet. You gotta really F it up to
Yeah.
be erased from history.
Especially because you're about to hear what happens next, and they didn't get scrubbed from history.
Ooh.
So whatever happened must have been real bad. There is a fan theory that I personally subscribe to because it just feels like the Emperor. But basically, after the Primarchs are all discovered and all their legions are going and the conquering is going great, I wonder if the Emperor was just like, what happens if one of them betrays me?
Yeah.
Would I be able to take them out? And so he eliminates 2 legions just to see if he could.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal theory that I subscribe to. We don't know. That's the whole point. It is a mystery purposely left open. I'm sure they're doing that so maybe they can bring back lost Primarchs at some point. I don't know. But the point is, at some point, we went from 20 to 18, and even the other Primarchs, if they know about it, don't talk about it. So whatever it was bad. Okay. So we're actually getting pretty close to the end.
All right.
So he unites literally half of all the Space Marines. So 9 legions. Each legion has 100,000 plus Space Marines.
It's like 1 million.
So yeah,
Good
give
math.
or
Good
take.
Is that right? Okay.
1.2.
Give or take, yeah, 1 million on either side. And those aren't the only ones that turn. So in addition to the Space Marine, there is a traditional military and a traditional Navy. The Navy in this case does space stuff, not water stuff. And roughly half of them, usually the ones that support and transport the Space Marine Legion. If the giant 12-foot robot men tell me that we're doing chaos now, yeah, we're doing chaos.
I'd
Yeah.
listen-
Oh,
I'd
yeah. I'm
listen
on
to
board.
that.
Yeah.
I'm on board. Sold. Let's go. Nurgle, you say? Papa Nurgle sounds great.
Papa Nurgle.
Papa nerd.
And so ends up being this massive war, which more than anything else sets up modern day 40K. It's called the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, I knew that name.
And again, it's like 50 books long. It's just the Horus Heresy. So
Wow.
we're skipping a lot here. But it culminates with the invasion of Terra, because Horus, as we've established, is a great leader and a brilliant tactician, incredibly strong, fierce, smart, all that fun stuff. So they invade Terra. He makes it all the way to the Imperial throne room. One of the other Primarchs, who he was very close to, named Sanguinius, who is the Primarch of the Blood Angels, tries to stop him. He kills Sanguinius and then fights the Emperor himself. And they are shockingly evenly matched. Because the Emperor made Horus strong to begin with, and since accepting the gifts of chaos since then, he's even stronger, and it puts him more or less on a pretty even match with the Emperor himself. And so they basically end up killing each other.
Oh.
So the Emperor kills Horus in a fashion that not only kills his body, but obliterates his soul. So Horus is forever gone. He's not even a soul in the warp.
Wow.
Man.
The Emperor, in the meantime, has been mortally wounded, which is pretty impressive for a perpetual. That's hard to say. For a perpetual. And everyone's freaking out. They're not sure what to do, so they decide to put him on life support because he's important.
Oh, this is where the throne comes in.
So they put him upon the golden throne.
Show us that throne. There it is.
Which is where he has sat for the last 10,000 years.
Do you know what that means?
We're at 40K.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's everything that happens in Cliff Notes between the Horus Heresy and 40K. It's not that much, but it explains how the Empire is in such a sore state. The Imperium, excuse me. It's not the Empire, it's the Imperium. The Emperor is being kept alive by the Golden Throne. No one understands how the Golden Throne works because it was built during the Dark Age of technology. Yes.
Oh, I see.
It's generally believed that his psychic energies, which he gets from the warp, are more or less what's keeping him alive. And what they've noticed is that he functions pretty well as long as he devours the soul of 1,000 psychers a day.
As one does.
Yeah.
That's my diet.
Yeah.
So if you live on Terra and you have a psyker in your family, if your kid is a psyker or whatever, one of two things happens to them. They're either considered very gifted
We're very delicious.
and put into a school specifically to train up psychers for use in the military or on ships, because again, we need them to get through the warp or else we can't really see where we're going. Or yeah, they're fed to the Emperor.
They're fodder.
Yeah. And that's
Become
not just
gingers.
Terra. They're pulled from other planets as well.
1,000 a day.
1,000 a day
Hungry.
are
He's old.
sacrificed to the Emperor so that he can continue working. Why is it important that the Emperor keeps working? So the entire time he was alive, because he's just a boss, no matter what else he was doing, he was also projecting a psychic presence into the warp where he was both keeping demons at bay and acting as the Astronomicon, which basically tells people in the warp where to go. He's basically a lighthouse in the warp so that everyone can stay oriented and know what they're doing and where they're going. If he dies, that's going to make warp travel really hard, and we're right back to the Age of Strife.
Mm.
So he is interred in perpetuity so that we can keep traveling and stay alive. So you mentioned earlier the phrase for the Emperor.
Yeah.
There's another one which humans regularly say to each other, especially soldiers on battle, and that is the Emperor protects.
Mm-hmm.
And at the surface level, that's really sweet because they see him as a religious figure, and we'll get to that in a second. But the full quote is, the Emperor protects because we force him to.
Mm.
And yeah, so even when you're the Emperor of mankind, it's grimdark. And so, like, Homeboy's literally not allowed to die. A few things happen after this. So, after the Horus Heresy wraps up, the Primarch that they effectively decide is by default in charge is Rabute Gilliman.
Rabute.
Yes, also known in internet boards as Robot Girly Man. And he's the leader of the Ultramarines, the big blue Boy Scouts that are on the box art of every Warhammer thing ever.
The big blue Boy Scouts.
So he looks around and he says, you know what? That sucked. And they're like, yeah, it did. And he goes, maybe legions are too big. Because I don't care who you are, 100,000 Space Marines showing up and wanting to cause trouble is hard to put down. So he creates the Codex Astartes, which is essentially a rule book, a code book, a code of honor book or whatever. And one of the rules it lays out is that legions are no more. Each legion has to be broken up into chapters, and each chapter can be no larger than 1,000.
Oh.
So that's how we went from having 18 different kinds of Space Marines to now there's like 500 official chapters of Space Marines. And it's to basically prevent any of them from getting too big and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Checks and balances.
Correct. There are two
What
exceptions.
are those?
Yeah. There are two exceptions.
Yikes.
The Ultramarines, his own chapter, seem to have plenty of Space Marines.
Hmm.
And then there's a rule that says if you are on crusade you're allowed to swell past that number because you're probably going to need them because you're on crusade. So there's my personal favorite chapter Space Marine, the Black Templars, who just said, you know what? Codex is pretty stupid. And if anyone asks, we're on crusade. And they ditched their homeworld never to return so that they could say they are forever on crusade. And they've been on crusade for 10,000 years.
Okay.
So anyway, shout out to them.
They're just doing stuff.
A few other things happen. In the power vacuum, it was decided that they really, really, really needed like an official government structure. So Terra had a few High Lords while the Emperor was around, mostly just to make sure the shop kept running because he was a busy guy doing busy stuff. It has swollen to like millions of Administratum and High Lords. And so now everything in present 40K is a horrific bureaucratic mess. Nothing ever gets done correctly or on time. There's constant miscommunication. It's one of those running jokes where, like, if orcs invaded your planet, help wouldn't show up for 150 years because the note got lost on someone's desk.
Sure.
Or something like that. The Empire has been more or less reunited, but that also has created a very stretched infrastructure. And so the system they decided on is inherently feudal. Every planet has to provide a tithe to the Empire or to the Imperium. And again, because of bureaucracy and corruption and mismanagement, pretty much as long as your tithe shows up, as long as your taxes show up, no one cares. Good or bad, no one cares. You could do whatever you want. If you're a planetary government and you want to have like a harem of aliens, which is horrific heresy, as long as your tithe is showing up, man, like, it's not a
Do
big
we really
deal.
need to talk about
Like,
it?
I don't know. Since then, chaos has returned. The warp storms are flaring up a little bit again. In addition, the Tyranids have come from outside of our galaxy because they're hungry. And so they're eating everything they possibly can. This was not a threat when the Emperor was cognizant.
Cool.
And now it is. And on top of that, once we started expanding again, numerous planets that we landed on ended up being tomb worlds of the Necron. So that's another new enemy that's come out. And things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. At the same time, even though the Emperor explicitly said that he did not want to be deified, following the Horus Heresy, and especially his interment on the Golden Throne, he literally became a savior of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the 10,000 years since then, the official church of the Imperium is worshiping the God Emperor. It is heresy to not believe that he is the God Emperor. And heresy only has one punishment. In the meantime, the ecclesiarchy, which is an official government branch, the branch of the government church, now has more power than anyone else. An entire new form of military, the Adeptus Sororitas, which are the girls with the short white hair and their own little sets of power armor. They're not just an army of girls, they're the church's army. They're battle nuns. That's
Battle
what they
nuns.
Battle nuns.
I'd watch that show.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, because the Emperor no longer has the ability to personally ferret out heresy, the Ordo Inquisition began, and that's a collection of people with unfettered power. So if you have an Inquisitor show up, you're going to do whatever he says, because being in the room with an Inquisitor is the same as being in the room with the Emperor himself.
Mm.
And what's really weird is it's not an official position. No one knows where Inquisitors come from. The only way you can become an Inquisitor is if another Inquisitor makes you an Inquisitor. But everyone agrees they have complete unfettered authority. If they show up on a planet and they decide it's not worth saving, they have the authority to do exterminatus on the planet.
That ain't
the
right.
entire planet.
That ain't right.
That doesn't seem right.
But again, to say no to an Inquisitor is to say no to the Emperor. That's saying no to God. That is heresy, and you will die.
Yeah.
So many rules.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it's a mess, and that's the point, and that's 40K.
Yay! Did you notice that he went off script like 10 minutes ago? He put his iPod away.
It has been so much more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
He was
Well,
barely on script. There was so much. That was excellent.
Yes.
I've learned so much.
I love the fake Latin.
Yeah.
Dude, it's great. Like, if you add at the end,
Or us. Yeah.
it works.
What was that last one? Archie? Archie?
Oh, the Ecclesiarchy?
Ecclesiarchy. That was my favorite one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think my favorite one was Nico.
Nurgle?
Nurgle.
So the fun thing about the Chaos Gods is that what everyone thinks they stand for is usually the opposite of what they stand for. So, like, Nurgle is the god of disease and decay. And when he
Same.
shows up, things start rotting and falling apart. And, like, the Space Marines that pledge their loyalty to him have, like, tentacles growing out of their sides. And, like, they spread infection via poxwalkers, which are just, like, plague zombies and stuff like that. But all he really wants is for you to accept the inevitability of death and decay. And if you do, you'll live forever. And Nurgle's actually all about the party. Nurgle. Like, let's go.
Nurgle's all about the party.
Like, he wants you to face, understand, and embrace death so that you can truly live.
That's sweet.
That's a nice little message.
And they're all kind of like that. Like, it's weird. Anyway, it's one of those things, like, if you do a deep dive on, like, the Chaos Gods, by the end, you're just like, no, I get how it happened. Yeah. But anyway,
Cool.
So yeah, the Imperium is a mess, but it's our mess. And yeah, there are no good guys in 40K.
Sweet.
Yeah, everyone sucks.
Everyone sucks.
Everything is awful.
Well, all of that said, thank you for tuning in. If you've made it this far and have not yet subscribed, please do that. We are at youtube.com/@EatSleepNerd. Oh, I did that. I didn't do that thing. Eat Sleep Nerd. Eat Sleep Nerd. Leave a like in this video, especially if you are a Warhammer fan, and leave some comments down below. Let us know what you thought about Josh's little lesson here. Let us know if he missed anything important. Let us know if he got anything wrong.
We know we got things wrong and missed important things.
Just add to the conversation, I'll say.
Yeah.
There you go. Give him some thumbs up. And please share us over on social media with your friends and family. That goes a long way into supporting this channel. And don't forget, we have a shop. Shop.eatsleepnerd.com. We have a bunch of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, bags, totes, sweatpants, bunch of stuff over there. All different sizes and colors. So go please support our channel by buying some swag. Merch?
Swag.
It's not swag. It's
Swag.
merch. It's merch.
Smirch.
And swag is stuff we all get, and
yeah.
you have to pay for this.
Yeah, you have to pay
It's
for
not
this.
Smirch.
It ain't free.
I mean, you can get it just with money.
Yeah. Josh, anything to leave the audience with? Anything to leave us with? I'm sure we'll be doing a part 2 to this at some point. So until then,
For the Emperor, eat, sleep, nerd.
well, I meant like, okay. Anything to wrap us up. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, my bad.
For the Emperor.
For the
All
Emperor.
right.
Like, I don't
Take it
know.
easy, people.
Nice little bow.